Alright, folks. Sorry about that. We had to go through and do a lot of off-screen jump cuts and crap like that, but hopefully this will end up running a little better now. Necro, do you have any idea how long we were running for? I guess I could just peek in real.
I was gonna say probably about 10-15 minutes.
Let me just take a peek in real quick here, just to make sure. I don't want to. 13 minutes. Okay, that's not too bad. So, folks, once this goes back up and live, maybe, just maybe, we'll be in the green. Maybe we won't be in the green. Who knows? I'm hoping we're looking a little better than we were. So let's find out, shall we? Na, 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 na. Still waiting for it to turn on. It's not on. Please turn on. Why the heck are you not turning on? Oh no. You're still not turning on. I can't take any more memory away. This is all I got. Oh man, let's see here. We are. Can I get lucky for just one bloody night, eh? Eh? Let's see here. Necro, watch the screen for me. I'll be right back. Whoosh.
Watching the screen, hi.
Yeah, we're also recording.
Oh, sweet. So, hello everyone. It looks like my internet's back. Just trying to see when we actually show up on YouTube to see how our recording's going. Woohoo!
Oh, dear Lord.
You know how that goes.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, there's Kaiju.
Okay, well, folks, video playback interrupted. Please try again sometime later in the future, or tomorrow, Wednesday, I don't know. Okay, well, we've restarted the internet. We've shut down every possible external system coming out of this computer. That computer shut off, right? That computer isn't accidentally downloading something in the background, is it?
Nope, everything's closed on it.
So all right, so it can't even be. So it can't even be that. So the only thing I can think of is if this doesn't end up working is that the internet's just so bad tonight that we just can't continue, which really sucks. So if that's the case, what'll happen is me and Necro will just do a video of what we were gonna do, and just have to live with that, I'm afraid. Oh great, now it says we're offline. Now it says Steam is resumed. Steam is continuing. Steam is frozen.
Yep.
Steam is not frozen. Yeah, well, there's no discussing anything on the stream. The stream is for streams only. Okay, it looks like maybe we're coming back a little here. Possibly? Alright, it looks kind of like I'm frozen here, but I'm still talking.
Yeah. But, I mean, as long as they could still hear us.
Yeah, but, is it straight up, like, am I stuttering and freezing now, or is it?
Picture-wise, yes. Talking-wise, no.
Alright, folks, we're going to let this run for a little while and see what we can do. Where did we leave off? Do you remember?
I know we were talking about my number 9. What did we
We're past that. Oh, Final Fantasy 7, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We can do a ton of DLCs and stuff with that Final Fantasy 7. Necro actually had a great idea where you actually go and play through Final Fantasy 7 Advent Children as a DLC.
Yeah, like call Final Fantasy 7 after.
Or you could just call it Final Fantasy 7 Advent Children.
Something like that.
So there's that.
It actually looks like our screen's going well now, too.
That's great. Now, these two might sound weird, but I really do think that we could... sorry, there's a puppy staring at me. I really do think that we could... excuse me, I'm in a recording. Yes, I am. I do think that these could get some amazing DLC, because there's still so much you could do with them. You can tell just by watching the modding community go. And that would be Final Fantasy 3 and Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. I'm all flustered because of the internet right now. Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas could be amazing new intervals into DLC territory. Particularly questions that you find, like, certain people on the internet are talking, like, whatever happened to Mr. House?
Yes.
What is the true ending to the whole Hoover Dam thing? Is it the NCR ending? Is it Caesar's Legion ending? Is it the House ending? Because the thing is that...
It's another unknown ending that we have no clue about.
Right, because as one person put, and I believe it might have been Bionic Puma, you'd think that if anything happened, you'd hear it down the line. Like, it would be a big event to happen. Especially since Fallout 4 is supposed to happen several years after the events of Fallout New Vegas. But you never hear anything. You never see the Securitrons again. I barely think the NCR actually shows up in Fallout 4, if at all.
Sure.
The Brotherhood is just... They just show up. It's like, boom, hey, we're here. Caesar's Legion's not heard of. Nothing happens. But in Fallout 3 and Fallout 4, there are connections. Or Fallout 3 and New Vegas, there are connections. Because it's happening roughly around the same time.
Yeah.
Because of that, you could really add into, follow down. Like, Fallout 4 could have a DLC that explains what happened to House. Or is Vegas still there? Or was it destroyed, overrun, etc. You'll never see it. Because they're basically done with it. But the modding community could bring it forth.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, if you're ever playing Fallout New Vegas and you want to see some good mods, look out the Bounty Hunt mods. They're amazing. They're fun. Long quests. Lots of fun things to do and new items. Another one to really throw out there, we're going to be doing a later on, is called Freedom Planet. Now, Freedom Planet is I want to put it a Sonic the Hedgehog successor, or an attempt at making a Sonic the Hedgehog-like game. It's really fun, it's really quirky, and it gives you that nostalgic feeling for a Sonic the Hedgehog game. But they only stopped at the first one. They never attempted to make a second. But there's so much you could do with it. Once again, you could add new characters, you could add new levels, you could add level editors. Mario Maker did it. Mega Man Maker did it.
Yeah.
You could have fun with that. You could jump onto that train and move on. One that Necro may not be too curious with, but I have played it, is called FTL, or Faster Than Light. It's a game where you basically have a top-down view of a little, basically it's a 2D spaceship.
Okay.
And you have to get from one side of the universe to the other and stop a war from happening. It's very addictive, it's very thought-provoking. You got to do a lot of thinking to make the game play. You really can't play it casually without mods. Of course, with mods you can play anything casually. I mean, let's just look at me in his Ark game, huh? Our freaking cloth armor has as much armor as tech armor.
Yeah, bitches.
And we still die.
Yeah.
And we still die. Walking around in armor with 800 armor each piece and just getting shredded. It's great. But FTL could add new worlds, it could add a new story, it could have you playing as the villains or the good guys. It's really never explained if they're the good guys or the villains. So I mean, they're taking over the universe, but is it for good or for bad? You don't know. Now, one I really want to throw in there and say it could have a lot of fun, and you could make a lot of DLCs for it, and they just chose not to, was South Park and the Stick of Truth.
Oh my god, you could do so much with that game.
Yes. Add new characters, add new levels. The Mall! I can't tell you how much I always wanted the Mall to come back as a DLC.
Yes.
Canada could have been so much more. There could have been things lurking out in the woods. There could have been areas, like you could have gone to, what was it, I think it was Los Angeles was one of the episodes where there was the cloud of smug.
I think so.
There could have been new enemy types, the new areas. I mean, just look what they did to Butters in the Fractured Butthole. They completely destroyed him. He used to be the most badass character in the game, and now he's just a waste.
Yeah.
You could basically make any role-playing game to be DLC worthy.
Oh, without.
That's just what makes it fun. Like I said, Final Fantasy VII could be fun, but imagine playing Final Fantasy VII but having characters from, say, Disgaea show up in it. Or have characters from other Final Fantasies show up in it.
Yeah.
Or hell, just characters from other games. Have Duke Nukem show up in Final Fantasy VII. I can see you back there squinting. I can see you back there squinting.
That'd be scary.
Constantly hitting on Tifa and Aerith.
Yes.
Possibly mistaking Yuffie for a boy. Hey, little boy, get away from me. Hey, my girl! Tell me that again in 10 years. Throw Johnny Bravo in the game. Come on, folks. Oh, man. The thing with the whole idea about DLCs is just adding extended content. And it could be anything from fixing the storyline to adding to the storyline. And there are plenty of games that could really use that. Look at the original Destiny. I know I shouldn't, but let's look at the original Destiny. What they tried to give us. Borderlands in space.
Yes.
What they gave us, about 90% less of what they promised us. And your DLCs, they brought out some, but did they fix any of the glaring issues?
Not really. They added more to do. That was about it.
Right. They didn't fix any of the glaring issues. No. They didn't add any really new classes. No.
No.
They just, like he said, they just added more errands for you to run. But imagine if they unlocked a planet that was outside of the solar system. What if they actually made the spaceships worth something?
Yeah.
Instead of just being loading screens, which, oh my goodness, I still can't believe they spent that much money to make floating loading screens.
Yes, they did.
It's maddening to think of that. Even Mass Effect 3 did better than that. And that's saying something. Fallout 4 was a better game than this. And that's saying something. Now, Destiny 2, don't get me wrong, it's more polished, yes. There's more stuff to do in it, yes. It's more colorful, yes. Did they fix any of the glaring issues from 1? No.
Some of it.
You're still in a floating loading screen.
Yes.
You still have partial classes, which you can only get stronger by gaining light or whatever it's called. Weapons are pot luck. These things I'm naming to you are things that the original players from the original Destiny complained about when it came to making the sequel. So, they brought out a DLC for it. Do you think, for a brief second, they thought of fixing any of the glaring issues?
No.
Let's go with another one that's a DLC nightmare. World of Warcraft. Okay, I will be the first one to admit I used to be addicted to it for the Horde. I was a Tarn shaman named Bansoff. But no, I cannot say that anything past the Lich King was worth it. And apparently lots of other gamers said so too. The glaring issue is they tried to change the game. It didn't work. So they brought out another DLC, thinking that would bring gamers back.
Doom with DLC.
Doom had a DLC. It needs more.
Yes.
It needs a lot more DLC. Like, you could rule Doom, especially the new one that just came out.
Yes.
The new one that just came out, oh, you could destroy with DLC. And if you guys, all you game designers are afraid, little scaredy ones who don't want to make a DLC, just hand out the modding codes to us. And we will show you what a game is supposed to be like.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'm not going to say there isn't going to be some idiot who's going to make a chicken gun. I'm not going to say there's not some idiot who's going to make Doom Guy run around naked, because you know what's going to happen.
Without a doubt.
There's not going to be some guy that's going to go out and make a naked demon chick mod, because it's going to happen. But I guarantee you, for every terrible mod, let's say every 10 terrible mods, let's be honest here,
Yeah.
there's going to be one gleaming example of what DLC could have been if you would have just sat down and thunk, or asked the fans. Let's look at something. Okay. I'm going to jump onto the fail Tendo train for a second here, so everyone hang on. I know it's going to get dangerous here. Failtendo just recently came out with the Legend of Zelda Skyrim Edition, or as they call it, Breath of the Wild.
Skyrim modded.
Skyrim modded to look like Legend of Zelda, because it's basically what it was, with breakable weapons. It's what happens when you take Skyrim, Legend of Zelda, and what's that one where they were on the island with the zombies?
Wasn't that Dead Island?
Dead Island, yeah. And Dead Island, and just popped them together and said, hey, it's a game. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a huge game. It's massive. I've seen people play it. It takes forever. Unless, of course, you realize that you can just go straight to the final boss and beat him. But anyway, spoiler alert, you can do it. The problem with it is there's so much area that's just open. Just wide open mountain ranges, wide open fields, wide open... This is a world where there are supposed to be communities existing, and you're telling me that a group of fish people, 3 or 4 human islands, and one place where bird people and some Gorons live. You're telling me that, like, 6 or 7 places in this gigantic map are going to be inhabited? No! That's not how it works! There's so much room for improvement. There's so much room for DLC. They're never going to bring out DLC.
It goes back to your whole Fallout 4 and the Nukem DLC. So much area that was able to be potentially used that never got the use.
Right. That's just what it is. And what is this? Okay, here you go. Nintendo of America. Nintendo of Japan. Nintendo period. Failtendo. Whichever one you prefer me to call you by. I don't give a damn.
Fuck-tarts.
That works too. Take that game. Put it on PC. Release the modding codes. And watch what could have been. I know you guys are afraid to do it. Nintendo is the biggest fear company there is. They are afraid to let people touch their precious little games. You're terrified of it because you're afraid they'll make a better game. Pokemon Uranium. Metroid AF. Castlevania Dawn of Solace, I think was what it was called. Mega Man Maker. These are all games that you could have done. You could have had people and said, hey, Pokemon Uranium looks amazing. Let me pay you guys to make this. No. But release the codes for the game. Let some people mod the game. And then put it into a free workshop and watch what happens. You don't have to do anything. The ideas will come to you. And then you just take all those ideas, all the good ones, you bundle up in a little ball and you walk over here and hand them to your guys and say, make this into a game. And you know the worst part is? Nobody will realize you did it. Alright? Microsoft does it. They actually tell people to mod games out.
Yes.
Sony does it. They actually ask people to mod their games out. And if they find somebody who's doing an amazing job, they swoop them up and say, you're going to make DLCs for us, or you're going to make games for us. All modding is basically small to gigantic DLCs. Now, don't get me wrong, once again, just look at Skyrim to realize that there's enough naked women mods and gigantic male penis mods to turn it into a hentai just to walk around in.
Without fucking doubt.
Yeah, without a doubt. Fallout's the same way. Play Fallout New Vegas and look up the prostitution mod. All right, seriously.
I was looking through armors, and oh my god, are they so skimpy and fucking skin tight on
Oh yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? And to make matters worse, like I said, there's an actual one called, I think it's called The Life of a Prostitute or some kind of mod like this. It's almost as big as the Honest Heart DLC created by Bethesda. And it's about prostitution. Exactly. It's about prostitution. Let that sink into your brain. Let it sit.
If you want to go whore yourself out, there's a corner right down the road.
It's a corner down every road.
Exactly.
But, I mean, to get back on topic, we could even look at older games that could have DLCs attached to them. That could be amazing games nowadays. Well, the first thing you'd have to do is, of course, increase the graphics.
Yes.
Okay? Let's look at a game like Devil May Cry. Okay? This tower that you're running through in the original Devil May Cry is supposed to be 100 floors tall or something like that.
Yeah.
You never see all 100 floors.
Nope.
I think you see like 17 or 18 floors. Now, there's excuses for it, like he's jumping through windows and climbing up walls and stuff. But you could make a DLC added to it which opens up more floors. More fighting, more bosses, more weapons, more fun.
Yeah.
That's simple. God of War, have a part where you actually see more of the underworld, perhaps, or a boss rush mode, or things like that. That could be fun DLC content.
I definitely play it.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it doesn't have to be like adding 1,000 things. It could be so much as adding one new playable character. Imagine Resident Evil, the original, remade like 9 times, Wesker as a playable character.
Yes.
People would jump all over that. People would buy Resident Evil just to play as Wesker. Just to play as Barry Burton.
Yeah.
I know our buddy Redfield, he'd jump right on that. Or, here's a terrifying thought. I know this is going to get scary. But take Resident Evil. Oh, sorry, buddy. And add a character creator to it.
Oh my god.
You're a rookie stars agent in Resident Evil. I'd jump on it. I'd play it. I'd be all over that. Picking
I
up.
already have a boner for it.
Game boner, swing. Oh, we're not worthy. Not worthy. Oh well. Anyways, jumping back on track. But then again, there are bad games with bad DLC, but there are also bad games that could be fixed with good DLC. And the prime example, once again, burn me at the stake if you want, Fallout 4. You can, I know, but you could do a lot with it. That's what I'm saying. The Boston area they gave you was gigantic, but once again, lots of open area, lots of places. Look at the Glowing Sea. I don't know if you've ever actually reached the Glowing Sea, but it's literally miles of just... There's a crashed plane here, and then radiation everywhere. And there's a pyramid here, which is actually like a missile silo or something, and there's nothing. There's nothing out there. Or, how about just zones to a new area? You're in Boston, Massachusetts. You don't think there's more parts to Boston?
Yeah.
Hell, lead them here into Hazelton, PA. You could walk around with a camera and take pictures of Hazelton, PA, and put it into Fallout 4, and people would think that you designed it to look that decrepit. Yeah, honestly. Just switch all the characters around to raiders. That's what we all are. We're all poor bastards trying to fight for survival in the city of Hazelton. That's all it is. You can make an entire DLC about just walking from one point in Hazelton to the other. You could do it. I jump all over it. Let me make me a named character that gets killed right at the beginning of the game. I'm cool with it. I don't even have to have any lines. Just, I just fall over and die. I get shot by somebody. Or at least try to explain certain things from Fallout 4 that could be explained in the DLC.
Yes.
What made the Brotherhood of Steel come to Massachusetts? Especially Boston, Massachusetts. For rumors of robotic people? That's not how the Brotherhood of Steel rolls.
No.
Now, if you've played any of the other Fallouts, they don't roll like that. They're not looking for boogeymen in the shadows. No, they're looking for powerful technology that you can prove is there. And all you have is stories about people vanishing.
Yeah.
Ooh, in an apocalyptic wasteland where murderers are everywhere and serial killers and cannibals are plentiful,
People are disappearing! Oh my god!
Or people are acting strange around people in a world where chems are the fucking #1 thing to do in your spare time. I'm not sure there's some hallucinogenic effect that's going to be happening every now and then. No, of course, I'm not going to pop some psycho and some jet at the same time as drinking some whiskey and see what the hell happens. No, of course not. It's what the game is!
Why not? It sounds like a fun time.
They sell... The entire game is based off of bottle cap currency, Necro. Bottle cap currency.
I'm aware I played it.
Just let that sit in your brain. There's no need for pre-war money other than to sell it for bottle caps. It is funny as hell. And you're telling me you can't do anything with Fallout 4 but create more places for you to build a fucking settlement.
Yeah, fuck those settlements.
Yeah, you can never get them right anyway.
No.
My favorite ones are like watching those people that build like those giant towers that are like 40 fucking feet tall and then just filling the entire bottom with just like weapons.
Yeah.
And just be like, okay, the raiders showed up, and and please just give me a reason to kill Preston Carvey.
Oh, without.
Please just give me a reason to kill the bastard. I'm sorry. He just upsets me. There should be an entire DLC about you just getting rid of him in the most horrible way. All right, that's what it should be. I'm not against him because of his color or his thought process or anything. I'm sick of the fact that I am the first fucking person he sees other than Raiders, and he turns me into the general of his army.
Like, how the fuck trustworthy are you?
And then after that, he says he serves me, but I gotta do all his shitting jobs.
Yeah.
And I get no praise for it. Fuck that. It's like the little kids in Skyrim who walk up to you and go, "Go ahead, hit me, mister." I don't care how evil you think I am. I purposely downloaded the Killable Children mod just to end some of those kids. I don't care what anyone says. I did it with a smile on my face and a skip in my step. That's some good stuff. Anyway. And yes, that's another DLC to throw at you. Killable Children.
Oh, that's a mod.
Oh, you can't kill the children. They're innocent. It's Skyrim. Everything wants to kill you.
Yeah.
I saw the one time a guy was running and he punched a chicken, and I guess the chicken fought back and he killed him because he had 1 hit point left. I mean, even the chickens want you dead. You are the Dovahkiin and everything hates you.
Look at it this way. Kids ain't innocent. I haven't been since I was 1.
Yeah, that's giving him credit. Anyway, so I mean, DLCs are big and they can fix games. But what would you consider a bad game? To me, a bad game is something that has promise, that has a chance of being a great game. Now, Bubsy, the new one that came out, no. I'm sorry. There was no chance of that being a good game. Now, what was that Banjo-Kazooie ripoff that came out? The
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Kudo Caboodle, or what the hell it was called. I should really look that one up real quick. I'm going to look that one up real quick. Give me 2 seconds, folks. Banjo-Kazooie. Oh man, I hit too many buttons. This is what happens when I type without my glasses on. It was called Yooka-Laylee. Yooka-Laylee. I knew it had to do something with music. Okay, so you have Yooka-Laylee. Now, it was a good game. I'm not gonna lie. I liked Yooka-Laylee. It was short. It was predictable, but it was a fun game. Could you make it a better game? Yes. It would involve you having to restart the entire game, rip it up from the groundwork, and fix it. Or you could make a good DLC for it.
Yeah.
A perfect example is sitting right back there again. The Fractured Butthole. Oh my god. Okay. First of all, I am so disappointed in this game. I expected so much from the inventors of South Park, a Stick of Truth. And I didn't get it. But could it be fixed? Yes. Could DLC fix it? Yes. Will the DLC they have scheduled fix it?
Probably not.
Probably not. Like I said, the first DLC was basically a bunch of Coliseum battles where you really don't gain anything.
Yeah.
The whole point of a DLC is to add something new to the game that is not only challenging but fun. Unless you're making a Dark Souls DLC, in which case you just want to punish people. You're a miserable person. You probably originally worked for the DMV. Or airport security. Those are probably your previous jobs. Or Philtendo, yeah. Those are like a trio of jobs that you probably did in your past to make you want to make these games. Don't get me wrong, I can't wait for Dark Souls 4 where they bring out drive-by shootings. Because that just seems what they're talking about. They're talking about in Dark Souls 4 of bringing in firearms.
Huh.
Now, personally, I think what they mean by firearms is like flintlock stuff, you know.
Right.
Stuff that's not going to fire really fast, you're going to have to reload it, that kind of crap. But these are the same people that made us, Bloodborne, so, I mean, anything's possible. Once again, Bloodborne, not a bad game, but when you play Dark Souls and you expect the game to be like Dark Souls and you keep trying to block and you keep dying over and over and over. I know, you dash and roll and spin and whip out your trick cane that becomes a whip and you spin it around your head and for some strange reason it clips through your body and doesn't kill you. Not saying that they didn't do any kind of investigations on that or anything, but if you try to barrel roll through somebody swinging a club at the ground and you pass through the club, physics don't work that way.
The club's gonna stop you
Yeah.
and you're dead.
It's gonna be golf. You're just gonna... Right? Just gonna say that. Now, did they bring out DLC for it? Yes. What kind of DLC was it? Dark Souls DLC. which goes to show you it had incredible weapons, incredible new armors, incredible new abilities, and enough time of you swearing yourself to death that, you know, you are literally not going to heaven if you believe in that kind of thing. You are just destroyed. Even the devil's like, dude, I put a sensor bar on you. That level, all right? Now, there are also games that I don't think could be fixed by DLC, but they don't need to be fixed by DLC. An example of that would be basically any of the Grand Theft Autos.
Yeah.
Now, I understand Grand Theft Auto 5 has brought out a crap ton of DLC, but let me explain something. The DLC they brought out for Grand Theft Auto was basically just to give you more things to do. Grand Theft Auto 5 is a huge game. I mean, there's still people playing it. I mean, go watch the Ogscast play it.
See, with Grand Theft Auto 5, they brought out online capability.
Yes.
Unlike every other freaking Grand Theft Auto.
Correct.
So that's what the DLCs are based off of. More online content to do with your friends.
Right, and that's a great way of looking at it. But it doesn't overshadow the game.
No.
You don't need it to play the game. If your buddy has the DLC and you don't have the DLC, that doesn't mean you're not going to be able to play with them. That means doesn't mean you're not going to be able to hop into the car next to him and he's not going to be able to drive you around.
And if memory serves correctly, most of the actual DLC for 5 is free.
Yes. I believe all of it, actually. I'm going to have to investigate that real quick. But the fun thing is that it's all just to expand the gameplay. Because when it came to games, Fallout 5 is one of those really rare games that I have to say I don't see much way of fixing. You don't need to. It's a good game. And it hurts to say that because I think I have like 10 games in my life that I can say are good games that don't need to be touched. It just happens to be one of them. I'm not saying much, but I mean, if you guys could just stay away from touching a few of my other top 10, I'll make an entire video about them later so people like Phil Tendo can just say, you know what, maybe we should not have this guy blow a gasket because we touched one of his favorite games.
Yeah.
Although I would kill for a 3D version of Super Legend of Zelda. I would kill for that kind of a game. Now, DLCs are a great thing to do. They're fun and they're relatively inexpensive to the game companies, as they do not cost nearly as much because they already have the assets available. So the question is, why don't they bring out more DLCs? Well, besides that and wanting to do microtransactions in every fucking game, a lot of companies try to play the coattail game. Prime example of that would be the new Super Mario that came out for Phil Tendo. Where, okay, so what are your power-ups? You transform into people. Okay, but what are your power-ups? Oh, you throw a hat on top of somebody, you get their power. So it's Kid Chameleon.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's fucking Kid Chameleon as Mario. It's what it is. Shut up, you. Don't you growl at me.
Kids these days make me sad.
Do they? Do they really?
Yes.
You don't say. Why?
Okay. Couple weeks ago, we were up at the mall with Reaper Rose and her daughter Riley. Of course, every time we are up at the mall with said two people, they go into GameStop.
Oh, that already makes me sad.
And Riley goes and plays one of the games.
That makes me sad.
Now, I was talking to one of my buddies.
That makes me sad.
That works there.
That definitely makes me sad.
And he was, and we were standing next to the machine that Riley was trying to play, which I believe was the Nintendo Switch.
Yep, which everyone keeps telling me, oh, you gotta give it a chance, Kaiju. It's not that bad of a game system, Kaiju. It's got new Mario Kart, which is the same fucking game as always been. It's got a new Legend of Zelda, which is a Skyrim edition. It's got a brand new Mario Kid Chameleon edition. Sorry, Nick, please continue.
And she was playing, the Mario game.
The Mario Universe or something like that.
Kid Chameleon in
Yeah.
Mario. And here she was running away from the chameleon, the Goombas. Sorry, not chameleons.
Running away from the Goombas.
And we were like, you just stomp on their head. She's like, how do I do this? Why would you do that? I'm like, what is wrong with you? This was my childhood.
Well, you gotta remember, though, that they didn't have the games we have. take a look at. I can't remember which one of the big e-game tournaments it was, but group like the top 10 competitors were given a chance to like, would you like more money? Because all you have to do is do a challenge, and their challenge was, and I'm not even joking here, to play the first entire map of Super Mario 3 without needing a continue. They couldn't do it. Mario 3, folks, for the Nintendo Entertainment System. A game that had 4 buttons. Start, select, A and B, and then a little D-pad. These people are playing games like League of Legends, which require, spontaneous thought process into 40 different keys on your computer at the same exact time. Couldn't figure out how to have a fat man jump on a Goomba. Couldn't figure out how to run. Couldn't figure out how to jump. 4 buttons.
What would you do for another Pokemon fan-made game?
Who said that?
Jared.
Another Pokemon fan-made game. Actually, I'm planning on doing some videos up upon a game I want to make as a fan-made game, but as far as Pokemon games go, release the source code for it. Oh, wait, they already did. Well, then let people make games for it. They already did. Well, then let them put them out. No, they're just going to destroy them when they come out anyway, so why even bother? Pokemon is a great game. Could you DLC it? They've shown that you kind of can. I mean, what is it? Pokemon Fire Red?
Yeah.
And Leaf Green? I think those are the two. Don't get me... Or is it Water Blue or something like that? I can't remember. Were the original game with a little bit of added stuff to it. What would I like to do? I would like to see a lot of what happened in Sun and Moon combined with a lot of what happened in Black and White. I like the characters. I like the ideas. They need better Pokemon. They need a better location. They need to get away from all this stuff that was horrible and that they tried and they need to get away from. I know there's going to be a lot of people out there that are going to try and defend it by saying, oh, but all you ever want to do is fight against the gym leaders and then go to the Elite Four and fight against an evil organization. Yes. Yes.
That was everything
and yes.
About Pokemon.
Welcome to it.
Up until Sun and Moon, that's what you did.
Yeah, welcome to it. Here's the Pokemon formula. 1. Start with a 10-year-old protagonist whose parents hate him because they're willing to throw him out into the wilds with a weapon of mass destruction. Check. 2. Make him run into a professor that's named after a tree. Check. 3. Give him a rival, good or evil. Check. 4. Give an evil organization that in all reality would have gotten their asses kicked on a day-to-day basis by people like me. Check. 5. Set yourself up some kind of goofy challenge system which involves you having to face off against your rival at the last point anyway, like, say, I don't know, collecting 8 magical badges that open up the doors to 4 more fights before you fight your gosh darn challenger one more time. Yeah, that's Pokemon. Throw a bunch of imaginary animals in there that are half animal and half robot or something, And face facts, Pikachu's just a rat with a built-in taser.
Right.
Charmander's just a lizard with a flamethrower.
Yep.
Bulbasaur's just a weed whacker on steroids. Squirtle's just a bulimic turtle. I mean, it feeds itself, folks.
Yeah.
And then make them slowly turn from adorable to terrifying. But don't do it too far or you make Digimon. How I'd like to see a DLC? I would like to see Pokemon with a DLC that adds Digimon to the game. Let's play.
Yes.
Now, as for the whole fan-made game thing, folks, I'm actually working on ideas that I would have for a fan-made game. It's going to be the Pokemon TMOG edition. But we'll talk about that on a later date. What I'm trying to really say is that...
apparently he knows someone that almost completed one.
Completed as in made or completed as beat? Because you talk about made, that's awesome. Now, the thing is that...
it says, I know someone and his friends that are almost completed.
Cool.
So I'm guessing making.
Now, as I was trying to say, DLCs are a great way for a company to either A, pull a game out of the fire, or B, try to repair a game. If you don't need that, then you can make a DLC that adds to the game. But if you need... You can't just make a DLC that adds to the game without doing a DLC that fixes the game.
Yes.
I guess that's what I'm really trying to throw out there. If Fallout 4 would have started with, the island, then Automatron, then the Nuka World DLC, and then thrown in those last 3 together in one bundle,
Yeah.
it would have worked. All it shows is that people who made Fallout 4 were money grubbers.
Oh, without
That's
doubt.
all it was. They were just money grubbers.
And he did say made.
Okay. Because a DLC is not throwing in a bunch of crap that you can build. That is not a DLC. Especially if the DLC, it doesn't actually help the problem that the people had. The main problem people had with Fallout was the settlement building.
So let's create more settlement building options.
Exactly. Exactly. And what are some of the rewards for beating Automatron, Far Harbor, and Nuka World? Well, besides awesome guns and weapons and armor, more crap to put into your frickin' settlements.
Yep.
If the people have a problem with your game, and it's a specific part of the game that they have a problem with, and it's more than 50%, do not make a DLC to further make them hate it.
Exactly.
And another thing, please, please do not turn power armor into cars. I'm sick of that, alright? I'm really sick of it. That's the reason I went back to New Vegas Fallout 3, because of you idiots. Another thing that would really make a lot of these games, and I'm talking like it would take some thinking to do it, but take these games like Skyrim, Fallout, even Mass Effect, alright? And build a DLC. DLC. I'm talking to you companies out there that makes them multiplayer. Not just on the web, but hot seat multiplayer, and watch your sales soar. That's what they did with Arma 2. They made Arma 2 a game where you required friends to survive, and it skyrocketed. Do you know how much fun I would have playing Fallout 3 with this guy back here?
Oh, without doubt.
New Vegas. Hell, I'll say it. I'll say it, and I'll just light myself on fire later. Fallout 4 with multiplayer.
And Jared's got a good point here.
Oh?
Isn't that the only thing they care about anymore? The cold hard cash?
It is. It is. Sadly, you are correct. It is horrible. It's true, but it's horrible. But if you like the cold hard cash, I can help you. I got a secret, okay? Just listen in. Take these huge...
Play to us, not you,
yes,
assholes!
Yes. If you want us to buy your games, give us reasons to buy your games. Fallout 3, the multiplayer DLC. You could charge $60 and I'd buy it.
You could charge probably 50 or freaking like $200 and we might do it.
Now, that's a little touchy, but yeah, I mean, you could charge that at a full price game and you would see people lining the blocks to buy it.
That was by Rebel. Sorry, that comment.
Oh,
Not the cold hard cash. Sorry, Rebel.
but by the gazillions, we would buy it. Look at these games that have been in the top 100 list for years. Now, I'm not trying to say put a DLC on Tetris.
No.
It's never going to work, alright? Don't even look at Tetris.
Just to change the colors of the blocks.
We added a new shaped block. It's just a middle finger. It just comes down to... Make your own blocks DLC for Tetris.
No.
I'd buy it. I'd buy it.
Actually, here. This might have been an interesting one to add to Excite Bike. Make your own tracks.
I hate to be the one that tells you that, buddy.
Oh, it was.
But you already can!
Yeah, I thought it was in there.
Wow!
Sorry, it's been a while.
Hang on, I gotta pull this thing down. It's a little dusty. Ugh, oh. I gotta mark you down as a negative slash. It's been months, dude. Oh, hang on, I gotta wipe the dust free. Oh, man.
It's been a year since I played the game, man!
I'm sorry, man, but the main purpose for buying Excite Bike was because it promised level design.
True.
That's another thing that I see coming out a lot that would really help people. Build your own games. Now, don't get me wrong, I've seen a lot of Mario Maker games, thanks to the Game Grumps mainly, where you like your character just sits there and goes through this world of like traps almost hitting them, and that's stupid. I don't think that's... I mean, it's clever, but it's just stupid. But I've seen some amazing worlds with amazing challenges and amazing fun, and then I've seen ones like only 1 out of a million beat this one. Why?
New shaped penis block.
The penis block. Or actually, you know, penis block or middle finger block. It would look the same on Tetris.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, you have it in different colors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Black. Oh, that's my racist joke for the year. Thank you.
Hang on. The pink one comes down vibrating.
Battery dies halfway. And if you're not willing to make DLC for a game, at least throw it out to the modding community so we can keep the game running. Fallout 3 has been out for literally over a decade. Alright? And it's still running because of the modding community.
Yes.
Trust me when I say this. Your game will continue to sell as long as you allow us to try and make it better. And that's the whole idea of a DLC.
Slash mod.
No. And when you run out of ideas for a DLC, that's when you throw it to the modders. And then we make DLC. And then you look at us and go, crap, I probably should have, we should have thought about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I still want to see, like, DLC for Shadow of the Colossus, which unlocks the other 8 Colossi. Spoiler alert, there was more than the ones you saw.
Yes.
There's supposed to be, I can remember 3 of them. One was supposed to be like a giant monkey that was like swinging through a cavern. One was a giant, I think it was either a bat or a manta ray. And the third one was a giant spider, which would have made him quit the game instantaneously.
I faced my fair share of spiders.
Guys, let's make an entire game where the only enemy is realistic-looking spiders. Gigantic, realistic-looking spiders. And you can make the name, you can get the main character to be, I don't know, Retro Rick. Or somebody who sounds like that. I can't think of any possibilities at the time, but if you guys can think of somebody who might be into that game, I suggest it. I'd play it. I would live stream that sucker. I'd have him playing it. I'll
beat you with the bear claw.
Oh, and some DLC for Turbo Pug too. While we're at it, we could really use a new retro Nick Ostang, Turbo Pug member.
Why not hire modders to fix games?
Because that's actually a good question. Who asked that one?
Rebel.
Okay, Rebel, that's actually a good question. The reason is threefold.
Well, actually, some companies do.
Well, I was going to get to that. Okay, some companies, such as Microsoft and Sony, enjoy finding people that make really good mods and then hiring them on to help them build new games. However, to fix the games involves 3 problems. First of all, the most common one, which is money. To fix problems in a mod, it's going to cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
Or a game, sorry, not in a mod. Fix in a game. Second, time. The time it takes to make one patch for a game is actually quite extravagant.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes weeks to make.
And if you have a game that's online, you don't want to have that happen because then you got to take the servers off.
Right. Like with World of Warcraft, where sometimes the servers would be off for 6-8 hours to fix 2 problems. But the main reason, and this is what pains me the most, the main reason, the 100% reason why they don't do it, is because it would hurt their pride. It's the truth. Game companies have a huge pride boner. You can't knock it down. They don't want you to touch their pride boner. They just want to proudly show their pride boner and thrust it into the air for you to stare at. Because if you walk up to them and tell them, I could make your game better, they're going to say, you can't. And if you prove them, they'll sue you or they'll threaten to sue you, so you walk away and hide in the shadows.
Yep.
Pokemon Uranium, Metroid AF, Castlevania Souls to Souls. 3 examples of games that the creators hated the fact that fans made better, even though they weren't making a dime off of it.
And mind you, it's all from one company.
Well, yeah, it's all from one company, but I mean, there are other games that have been other mods that have been shut down. There's been ones for like GTA that have been shot down.
True.
There have been ones for Skyrim that have been shot down.
But who's the main culprit?
Nintendo, but they have the biggest of boners. Remember, back in the day, there was them and Atari, and they ate Atari alive.
Yeah.
They crushed Sega under their foot. Even though Sega came out with the Dreamcast. It wasn't up until they kicked Sony to the curb and said, we don't need you, And a guy named Bill Gates got pissed at them that they actually had challenges.
As Juggernaut said here, most game developers don't think their games are broken.
Exactly. Another good comment there. They don't. They think their games are worth it, or they have Michael Bay syndrome, where they just don't give a fuck. They're just going to make money. That's all they want. If you want to make quick money, go ahead. Keep that thought process. Keep that little thought process. But let me remind you of one little game that is literally over 20 years old and is still selling like hotcakes to this day. Arma 2. That's all I got to say. They let the fans touch it, and now people can't get enough of playing DayZ. I mean, I know it's dying out now, but it's literally almost 2 decades later, and it's dying out now. You don't still hear people talking about Mario 64, even though it's a great game.
Yes.
You know why? Because that's as far as it went. They never gave it to the modders. They never gave it to the people. They never gave it to anyone to say, hey, here you go, we're done with it. Go have fun. Here's another one for you. Gary's Mod. Yeah, Half-Life 2 died a long time ago, folks, but Gary's Mod's still there.
Yep.
They're still making money off of it. I go on there and I click game type. I type in TTT, and they have like 49,000 games. 1,000 games playing. If each person paid $10 to get that, just to get the game just for TTT, that's $400,000.
And you get shit like E.T.
And you get shit like E.T.
Yeah, let's not talk about that game.
Yeah, I'm just throwing it out there. You have these games that companies spend millions of dollars on. I'll throw one out there because I'm still doing the Let's Play. Guys, I'm still doing the Let's Play on it. I didn't quit. There was actually an update that froze the game. I have to start over. Pokemon Uranium came out at the exact same time Pokemon Sun and Moon. In the same day, there were more downloads per capita for Pokemon Uranium than there were sales for Pokemon Sun and Moon.
It came out before that.
It came out like a day before. It came out like right before it. Or was it? No, it was Sun and Moon, wasn't it?
Oh.
Then it was no.
Sun and Moon is the one me and you bought.
Was it Black and White too then?
Maybe.
Or Black and White?
I didn't play any of them since.
I'll have to look into it. But whatever game came out, to date, Pokemon Uranium has downloaded more copies than any Pokemon game has had sales. Just because a couple fans took 7 years of their lives to make an amazing game that could have been just another game they bought, a DLC if you will, and Nintendo didn't want to touch it.
Yep.
Take the 8 million downloads day one and turn it to $60 a piece. That's a couple $1 million. No, it's a lot more than a couple $1 million that Nintendo failed out on.
Yep.
Think of let's look at a couple games. Let me just throw out. We have a few minutes. Let me throw out a few games here, okay? So, imagine if, say, the people who made Shadow of the Colossus threw out the gaming codes. Do you think people would still be playing Shadow of the Colossus?
Oh, without a doubt.
Do you think the mods would be amazing?
Well, yeah, they probably would have added their own Colossus in there, maybe different weapons or something. I don't know.
Now, if you sold Shadow of the Colossus at $30 a piece, you think people would still buy it just to play amazing mods on it?
Yes.
Okay. Skyrim versus Skyrim, the Special Edition. Which one has more sales?
Probably regular Skyrim.
And you know why?
Because there's way more mods for that one than there is Special Edition.
Right. The big thing you have to look at is this, folks. Game companies don't give a fuck about you. They don't know what you want. They won't ask you. They don't listen in the comments below. They don't listen to say, hey, could you try and not make a game that sucks like this because of this reason? You don't care. They don't care. You got to remember that. But the second they hand that game over to the modding community so the modding community can make DLCs, and I'm going to call them DLCs because what are they? They're downloadable content. It's what a mod is. It's what the modders are. We might as well be the DLCers of gaming. We'll work on it. Look at them. Look at the amazing mods. There's brand new whole worldscapes for Skyrim.
Yes.
Do you think people are buying Skyrim Special Edition? Think they're buying the regular edition and then buying all the DLC separately, costing them more money just so they can play the mods? And you know why? Because a DLC is designed to make the game better. And nobody knows that better than the gamers themselves. Now next week, folks, we're going to be having a different live stream. There's going to be no face cam. Instead, you're going to be watching us play one of the most fun and amazing games of all time, Plague Inc., while we discuss home remedies and why they do or do not work. My brother came up with the idea, and we're going to roll with it. So, until next time, folks, I'm KaijuK 3rd Edition K.
I am Necro Nick.
And we will see you when the next DLC drops. Peace out, everybody.
Later.